Hello and welcome to another Thursday here with me. I am Brian Cristiano, the CEO of Bold Worldwide. We are an ad agency trying to take over the world, change things, do marketing the right way to get results. I'm also here to give you insights, tips, ideas, and the way that I think and the way that we think here at Bold that can help you in your business. Whether you're a first-time entrepreneur or you're a Fortune 100 company, the things that I'm talking about apply to everyone, big, small, and in the middle. And I thank you all for tuning in. It's really, really cool of you. I know that we've been doing this for only a few weeks now, and it's exciting. I really hadn't thought about putting a lot of time, energy, and effort into doing Facebook Live, but since we have been, it's pretty exciting. And let me turn down the audio on my cell phone here. I'm like, why am I hearing myself? There we go. I'm still hearing a little bit of an echo, but that's all right. We got to figure out the audio stuff here. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I want to help you out. I want to help you out in your business. I want to give you the insights and the tips to be successful today in 2017 and moving forward. I am very much the firm believer that the way things have been done in the past are clearly not the right way for success in the future. But there's a lot of great opportunity out there for you, for me, for all of us. If we know what we're doing, we head in the right direction, we make the right decisions. So real quick poll. How many of you watched episode 7 of Growing Bold this week? We drop that every single Tuesday. And by the way, if this is your first time tuning in, we do this Facebook Live Q&A every Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern. So this is an ongoing thing. And Growing Bold, every episode we drop on Tuesday. Next week we're going to try Tuesday, but because of the holiday, we might end up dropping it on Wednesday. So apologize if that happens, but normally Tuesdays is Growing Bold and Thursdays is live. So how many of you just say yes in the comments if you saw episode 007 of Growing Bold? While I wait for that, Sean, Carnell, how's Florida going? Great, man. It's still very early stages, but things are going really, really well down there. I'm going to move these headphones, by the way, because I think that's what I'm hearing the echo over here. I'm going to need them for the live call-in, but I'm going to try to move so I don't hear myself too much. I hear enough of myself. Let me try to put them over here for a sec. Okay, back. Things are going really well. Ryan, yes. Mike, yes. Thanks, Mike. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Paul. Lizzie, yes. Of course, Lizzie's watching it. Appreciate all of you watching it. For anyone that is either not seen episode 7 of Growing Bold, or maybe you've never seen Growing Bold before, I'll give you just a little taste. I'm going to play the first 60 seconds or so of Growing Bold. I'm going to roll this thing in now. Hopefully it works. We're figuring out the tech here. Apologize if there's a little lip delay. We're working on that too. I'm going to roll in the first like 60 seconds or so of episode 7 of Growing Bold. Hang tight. I think that's it, dude. Whew. All right, guys. Let's see you all soon. Leaving. Bye. Where are we going, man?
Miami.
All right, so I've been down to South Florida 3 times in the last 3 months. The last time was actually was when I met with Grant Cardone, which kind of kicked off this whole spree of, okay, let's expand, let's hire, let's document everything we're doing and put it all on video on the internet. Once shit starts aligning for you, you just got to go all in and do it. And I think that meeting with Grant was really a key turning point of, all right, you know what? I know all I need to know. I know now I just need to go take some action. And so we are. Now we're opening an office down here. So that's just a little bit of a teaser clip of episode 7. So if you've already seen it, thank you so much for watching. I'd love to know what you think. Hit me up in the comments. What'd you like? Did you have questions about it? Something you want to see more of? Something you didn't like? I like honesty. So hit me up in the comments. Well, I'm going to start talking a little bit, but any questions, comments, things you hate about Growing Bold so far, episode 7, let me know. I'll try to answer a few of those up front, even though normally we do the Q&A at the end. I'll try to make this episode a little bit more interactive. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we're going to do a live call-in. It's going to be the first time we're going to do it, so hopefully the technology works. I feel pretty confident, but we're going to try it out for the first time. So stand by. We're going to do that in maybe 15, 20 minutes from now. We'll do the live call-in. So any questions that you have about your business, about marketing, about entrepreneurship, or anything else for that matter that is valuable for yourself and for the audience, I'm going to put that number up in a little while, and you're going to be able to call in, and we'll do a live coaching session, or we'll do a little bit back and forth live on the air here on Facebook. So stay tuned for that. The music is fire. Thank you, Mike. Love it. How are you marketing to the 50-plus crowd? Me personally, I'm not marketing to the 50-plus crowd, but we have clients who are, and there's a lot of different ways to do it. And believe it or not, actually, Facebook still works for them as well. Kurt, same market here. Cool, Robert. Thank you, guys. So anyway, I want to talk about, the first thing I'm going to talk about a little bit is scaling a business. We're trying to grow this company to over 100 million, right? The $100 million is just a financial goal, financial marker to really say, if we get to that point, most businesses never make it to the size that we are currently, right? But many, many fewer ever make it to that size of a business. And I really believe, and we truly believe, that we have what it takes to get there. I truly believe that I have the people in place to take it there, the talent, the knowledge, the technology on all sides of what we do from a business perspective, what we do from a marketing perspective. And so for me, scaling at this point is just the obvious next choice. It's my duty to make sure that we grow as big as we can, help as many companies as we can, do is an incredible job that no one else is doing. And so the decision to make that happen, I talked a little bit about in episode 7, was really, it's just the kick in the pants from someone else who's already done something that big, who tells you, you got it all lined up. Are you willing to do it? Do you believe that you can? Do you believe that things are in order so that you can grow that big? And if the answer is yes, what are you waiting for? Right? The rest of it's just details. Igor, what's up, man? Thanks for checking in. It's just details. There's a lot of details, don't get me wrong. But here's the thing. Because scaling and growth hacking are like the cool terms nowadays, right? And it's so easy to feel like, oh, you have to scale. You don't have to scale. There's a lot of businesses that do $1 million, $5 million that people are super happy with, that are very profitable potentially, right? And so it really depends on a couple things. One, do you want to grow your business? Do you want to scale it? 2, is there a market for your business to scale into? Right? If you have a local pizza shop, scaling that is difficult. Not impossible, Papa John's, Pizza Hut, but it's not easy to scale a pizza shop, right? If you do something where you only have a potential customer base of 300 people ever, because it's so niche, can you scale that? Probably not, right? So you have to understand a couple things. One, right? All right, do you have the infrastructure? Do you have the talent? Do you have the product? Do you have the service that it takes to scale, to grow, something that people really want, they need? Do you solve a problem in your marketplace? We solve a big problem in our marketplace. Marketing is disjointed. It's all over the place. Most businesses, 82% of all the marketing dollars still spent in traditional. When we obviously know that that is not where eyeballs are. That is not where attention is. That is not how you become successful today. Not saying it's worth 0, but it's worth a lot closer to 0 than it is to a lot, right? There's a lot of businesses that think digital marketing is programmatic. Garbage, burning your cash, right? So it's really, there is a market need for marketing. There is a market need for growing a business. And so we deliver a service, we get results for clients. So obviously, there's a market for it for us. The market for agencies, consultancies, what we do on a business and marketing level is massive. Many tens and hundreds of billions of dollars, right? So to get to 100 million is completely feasible because the market is more than large enough to support $100 million and then some, way bigger than that, right? So the market size is there. We have a service that delivers a real result for a real problem in the marketplace. And then I believe that we have our shit together straight up. We know what we're doing. Even at our size of 30-something people, we're killing it comparatively to agencies that have 10 times the amount of people. Killing it. because we look at things differently. I've built a different business model. We have a different infrastructure because I don't come from advertising. I don't even come from business. I'm just an entrepreneur. Like everything I've done, I've kind of figured out on my own since, 18 years ago when I started getting into business. And so I'm just looking at like, how do I make this thing work? Not how do I make an ad agency work? So that is all the answers lined up and said yes. And so it was a kick in the pants for me to just say, okay, you're going to go for it. You have to do this. It's your duty. You must do this. You must bring this to the marketplace, or that's unfortunate, right? And so for you, if you're thinking about growing your business bigger, if you're already established and you're saying, hey, we're already a $100 million company, we want to be a $1 billion company, great. Can the marketplace sustain that? Is there upside in your marketplace? Is your market declining as a whole, or is your market growing? You have to answer these questions first. Then, do you have a product or a service that really solves a problem that customers and clients need? The answer is yes. Then, quite frankly, do you have the guts to stand by that? Because when you grow, when you scale, whether you're going from 10 people to 100 people, or you're going from 100 to 1,000 or 1,000 to 10,000, there are a lot of growing pains along the way. You have to be able to stomach the change. You have to be able to coach and teach your employees and get them to understand that it's not going to be easy. You're going to wear multiple hats, and the hats you're wearing today are going to change in 6 months, and they're going to change again in 12 months. And you need to make sure that you're hiring the right people that thrive in that environment. You have to make sure that your clients are on board with your growth. You have to make sure that, like, I'm making very certain that we're not growing at the detriment of our current clients. We're actually increasing the capabilities and services for our current clients. Our clients are making out like bandits because, quite frankly, we're so underpriced because they've been with us for years, and so they're getting the value of a lifetime. But I also really believe in doing an incredible job and over-delivering, just as whether it's my business or any business. And so for us, it's like, yeah, obviously, like we're going to deliver. We're going to make sure that we do that for our clients, obviously. And so as we grow, they get more services, they get better people, they get more people on their account, they get better technology that we're building and we're using and we're building on top of for our growth. They could take advantage of that, right? So all those things are lining up. John, hello. Keith, programmatic, boo. Yeah, dude, programmatic sucks. Dustin, what's up, Dustin? Thank you all for joining. So scaling is, in growing a business, really it's a lot of sacrifice. It's a lot of uncertainty. So you have to be certain of the goal of where you're going. You have to have a very clear target, right? 100 million is a clear target. You know if you're getting towards it or you're moving away from it. It is very clear. You can't just say, hey, we're going to grow. What are you going to grow? How big are you going to grow? What markets are you going to grow into? What services are you going to add, change, get rid of to be better as you grow? And here's the biggest key of all. Start making decisions today like you're already there. If I make decisions in this business now based on a $10 million agency versus making decisions as a $100 million agency, which do you think gets us to 100 million faster? Acting like we're already there? Of course. Kurt's got a good question. I'll come back to that in a little bit. Kurt, hang on to that for a second. The one other thing I want to talk about, though, because, and we got into a little bit in episode 7, is there such thing as balance, right? I mean, you guys saw, right? We're growing. We put feet on the ground. We're hiring down in Miami. We're starting to open up an office down there. We're hiring up here in New York. We're going crazy on business development down in Florida and everywhere else. I also have who you guys will probably see more of. You saw few episodes ago, Stephen Fott, who's amazing, who I've recently brought on board down in Louisiana. We're doing a bunch of stuff down there. Going to be traveling down there in the semi-near future. There'll be some future episodes. It'll be fun. And so I've got a lot of pieces up in the air in many different areas. And when you go and you do a 3.5-day, 4-day trip in one state, and you literally get maybe 2-3 hours of sleep at night, and you're grinding and you're driving and you're calling and you're taking meetings and you're pitching and you're doing all these things, and you fly back and then you have a sleepless night here in New York and you haven't seen your wife or your dog in 3 days, and you stay in the office to get proposals out, it burns you out a little bit. I mean, I love it. So at the end of the day, I get a good night's rest the next day, and I'm fine. I'm back ready to rock and roll, ready to kick some ass. But there is no such thing as balance. I think balance is like is the most like mediocre thing that anyone could strive to have. I really do. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have things that balance you out, right? Like I'm going crazy, I'm going nuts, but then I want to go and just like play with my dog and walk her for an hour in you know, some trails, go like trail, you know, walking some trails with my dog and like totally chill out in the middle of nowhere, right? But that's not balance. Those are two very different extremes, right? So I do that to like calm me down, to bring earth me, right? But I'm not looking to like average, right? I'm not looking for this balance. Balance is average. Balance is in the middle, right? Balance is like getting on a seesaw and then just like not going up or down. That's boring as crap, right? High highs, low lows. Dude, that's living. That is life. Like to know the pain and the struggle and the fear and the scarcity, and then also know the like success and the like incredible things that you can achieve and do and how far you can push yourself. Those extremes, when you start living in extremes, it makes everything else so much easier, so much more fun, so much more livable. So for me, there is no balance. Balance is just a misnomer, bunch of crap that people try to sell you to say, oh, you need to balance your life out, man. Brian, you need some balance in your life. You're working too much. Maybe you need to work more, man. Brian, you're working all the time. You're going crazy. And then, you know, you're out, you know, I'm out bike racing this season, but last season, like, dude, and then you're going out bike racing. That's ridiculous, man. You're just extreme. You're on all the time. Maybe you should do some more. You tell me to slow down. Maybe you need to speed up. Right? So I'm I'm a firm believer that balance is bullshit. It doesn't exist. Balance is boring. I'm a firm believer that at the end of this life, at the end of this trip, just dust, dude. It's over. If I'm wrong, that's cool. Maybe there's something more that I get to enjoy, but for me, it's just like lights out, game over. And if I live by that and just assume, dude, when my time runs out, that is it. The clock stops, time's out, darkness, that's it. What am I waiting for? What am I worried? Like, am I going to get to be like 90 years old and the clock stops and I'm like, oh man, I really wish I got more sleep in my 30s or 40s. No. Like, I wish I did more stuff. I wish I lived more life. I wish I was more extreme. I wish I pushed myself harder. I wish I saw, could I have done that other thing a little bit more? Could I have experienced a little bit more? Of course. I think everybody deep down wants a little bit of that, a different version of that. Like your version of that's different than my version, but I think everybody deep down wants that. But I think as a society, we all get like pulled down. All the people at the bottom and in the middle just like, no, come back down here where it's safe and warm and easy. Dude, that's the worst place to be. Don't go there. Don't let people drag you down there. Don't drag other people down there. Don't live there. Don't stay there. Don't be there. Don't breathe there. Get out, man. Get above that. Live in the extremes. Live in the extremes. I am telling you, it's a hell of a lot more fun way to live your life. Don't wait for some future thing. Do it now. Do it now. I'm telling you. All right. So let me pull this up. Give me a second here. I'm like, okay, we're going to try this. Hopefully you can see this. We're going to do a live call-in. So if you have a business question, a marketing question, you're an entrepreneur, call in. The number is 917-633-4840. 917-633-4840. Call in. Alana's going to answer your call. If you're legitimate, you got a real question, we're going to get you on here in a few minutes. I look forward to talking to somebody, right? Like, so bring something good. Bring something heavy. Here's what I'm going to say, though. You're going to call in. Bring something that's specific. Let's work out a real problem that's tangible, that when you get off this phone, you can go and do. I don't want to talk theory. I want to talk real stuff that I can help you with. So be specific. Let's talk it out. Be specific. Give me a specific problem, and let's work it out. So we're going to do this call in. While I wait, I'm going to check out some of your comments. Anybody else has some questions in the meantime? Scotty, what's up, Scotty? I'm recently getting into digital marketing. How can I build my client list? Get your first client. Knock it out of the park. Do a great job. Ask for a referral. Rinse and repeat, Scotty. Keith, consumers want clear, easy, accessible data when making buying decisions. Yes, they want it easy. They want it clear. They want it fast. But they also want emotion. People don't buy on facts. They use facts to justify their emotion to buy. All right. Getting some calls in, I think. I hear some stuff happening. By the way, I am going to set this up. This is the first time we're doing this. So I'm very hopeful that the technology works. If it screws up, we'll just keep the show going, right? The show must go on. Keith, totally agree. Best way to live in the moment, dude. 100%. Live in the moment. but live for the future at the same time, right? Like, oh, what's going on there? What's going on there? Okay, we've got a first caller. James, is he from Washington or is it James Washington? Okay, James from Washington. All right. So we're gonna try this. Please bear with me if I screw this up. I really apologize. We're gonna try doing this here live. I gotta put on my headphone because we haven't gotten a perfect system down for how I can listen live to the actual call. So yeah, guys, why don't you patch this through? Is this him? Are you patching him through? All right. Hello, is this James? James, are you there? Hello, James. Guys, it's not working. I don't hear anybody over here. You transfer it out properly? James, you can't hear me? I don't know. We're going to try it again. I'm going to hang this one up, guys. I'm going to hang this one up. Have another one patch through. All right, so we're live. We're live. We're trying this out for the first time. We'll see if this thing works, if this goes through. So let me, I'm going to even check my audio settings while I do this. But you got a voicemail. Can't hear you. Oh, James couldn't hear me, guys. James couldn't hear me. All right, James, I apologize, man. Call back in, James. We'll try to get you back on the line. Just give it a minute. Be patient. Thank you very much because we're trying this. I'm like pulling up settings. These guys are going crazy over here. So we'll see what we can do. James couldn't hear me, so put the phone on speaker. Yeah, you might want to just put the phone on speaker or something like that, James. We'll try it again. We'll get somebody else on here. Then James, call back in. Alana will try to get you hooked up, get you on the show. What can starters do for owning a business? Dan, if you're going to start, you can try to own a business, right? Oh, all right. I think I figured out what we did there, guys, by the way. So just patch the next person through or patch James in. Get him on. Let's get this thing rolling. You guys got somebody? Sorry, guys. Anyway, so Nazil's asking, right? Like, what can I do to start a business? Look, man, you got to find a passion. You got to find something that you like, something that you're passionate about. You got to make sure that it's something that you want to do, that you can do, that you're excited about. You got to make sure there's a marketplace for it. You just got to go all in, man. You just got to do. You just got to start, right? Like, nobody's going to give you, I'm not going to give you a roadmap and be like, oh, do these 5 steps in a row and then you can start a business. You just got to start it. You just got to go for it. You just got to make it happen. And that's it, right? So I think if you're starting from a point of something that you're interested in, that you like, that you know a lot about, do as much homework and research as you can. Like, look at what other businesses are doing to be successful in that field, in that marketplace, and be like, hey, is there something I can do, should be doing, I'm not doing, and then work backwards and figure out, like, okay, hey, where do I start? How do I get my first client? And just like I gave somebody else some advice before, Nick, yeah, let's patch Nick through. So we got Nick from New Jersey. Patch him through here, guys. All right. Nick?
Hey, what's going on, Brian?
Oh, it worked. What's up, Nick? Hey, guys, we got it fixed. So next one's just do the same thing. Nick, what's your question, man?
My question is, what's your biggest challenge in Miami down there so far? You know, what's different from New York? How are you liking it?
Oh, hang on one second. Let me see. Nick, try it again. Just give me, the audio was a little low.
All right. I was just wondering what your biggest challenge in Miami is so far.
Got it. Biggest challenge in Miami. Yeah, biggest challenge in Miami is man, it's just getting the ball rolling, because anytime that you start a new piece of adventure, you start something new, right? It takes a lot of forward momentum. You got to get the groundwork in, right? So, like, that's why I was down there with Lizzie. We had like 25 different meetings all over Florida. The technical stuff's easy, like getting some employees in place, getting the office in place, right? We have a client down there, so we're starting off like using part of their office space. They had additional space down there, so it makes it very easy to get it rolling while we just have a few people. You know, but then like actual office space cetera, is the easy piece. It's just really about like getting that momentum going, so then we can leverage that little bit of momentum down there. And I would say the other biggest challenge for me is just making sure that my time is spent where it needs to be spent, because as we open another office, it's very easy for me to get pulled in even more directions. So it's just me like balancing out where I'm spending my time. Does that answer your question,
Absolutely.
Nick?
Yeah, that definitely answers my question. It's funny, I freelance a little bit, and those are some of the challenges I have too, picking up momentum.
Awesome. Anything specific I can help you on for your freelancing gig?
Well, right now what I do is, those little pamphlets with like for sale ads and like for hire, and you see advertisements and stuff in them?
Yep.
So I take those and I just call every single lawyer, every whatever with an ad in there. And I said, you know how many people are actually really seeing this? And some of the people will tell me like, go screw off, like you're an idiot. What should I listen to a college kid for? But then some people, actually do listen and understand what I'm saying. It's just the hard part is I haven't put it into practice myself yet, so I don't have that type of background for anybody to trust me off of. So it's hard to build trust at first.
Yeah, I think one of the things I would just give you a tip on for that is like, you're kind of starting the conversation from a negative point. Like you're telling them that they're wrong. Like, dude, you're doing this thing and it doesn't work. While that may be true, nobody really wants to start a conversation from that point. I would just change the conversation and be like, hey, I saw that you were in this flyer. How's that going for you? How's that going for you? Is that working? Are you doing well? Are you seeing success from that? And chances are they'll probably say no, or they don't know, or they're not sure. And they say, listen, there's actually better ways to do this. What if I showed you a better way to do it? Can I get, 10 minutes of your time? And then they'll say, all right, probably more like it, right? So now you're not starting from a frictional perspective of like, you're doing this wrong, you're wasting your dollars. You're saying like, hey, I see you doing this thing. I know a better way of doing this, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Brian.
My pleasure. I'm going to try to cut this off. So if I lose everybody, I'm sorry, but thanks for tuning in.
Good luck.
Thanks, man. All right. So we've got James is back on. Is that the original James? James from Washington. All right, James, we're getting you back on here, man, supposedly. Let's see if this thing works. All right, guys, have him patch him through. All right, James, is this working now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you, man.
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm doing great.
James, welcome from Washington. Thanks for tuning in. What's your question?
So I've been in the industry now for about 10 years as a branding consultant, but my biggest thing is, our clients want to know how to measure brand perception, and they always ask, what's the return on investment on an experience? So, you've got your standard marketing, your traditional marketing, flyers, all that stuff, and then you've got your brand perception, which is, creating the experience and spending money on that. And I like to have my clients do that because I feel it grows organic. I just wanted to know what are some of the tools that you use or some of the theories that you use to explain to them how to measure brand perception.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think there's a couple of things that I would consider or think about, James. One is, when we're doing something experiential, or if you're doing something like that, what is a tangible thing that we can measure, right? Like, is there leads? Is there signups? Is there a giveaway? Are there entries? Are there how many people came? Is it something that we do later where we follow up and get them to enter something, or, get someone else that they know to sign up, right? So you create something in what you're already doing that becomes tangible, and then that becomes trackable in and of itself. So now you have a KPI, you have a marker to say, hey, we're going to do all this stuff. And while we can't measure every single aspect, we have something tangible that we can measure, that we can show you, hey, we started with 0 contacts, we left this with 10,000 contacts. Now there's something that we can all measure to know, are we headed in the right direction? And then ultimately, maybe you can measure, can we turn those contacts into paying customers, or can we get those contacts give us more potential prospects? Does that make sense?
Definitely, yeah. Trying to plug in any sort of analytics and measure any sort of anything like that is what we're interested in. To kind of give the client a viable information to build out for the future. So very cool.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing I would leave you with this one is, yeah, create something that is tangible, that's part of the event or part of the activation that you're doing, right? So you can have something that's measurable outside of the actual event. And then I think the other piece of it then is like, you know, is there something, if it's a big enough event with enough people, is there a social component? Is there something where you can get them to engage on a platform or use a hashtag or tweet or do something, not just to get them to ask the people to do it, the customers to do it, but they get something from doing it, because then you can say, oh, hey, look, you know, we got all these tweets, we got all these Facebook engagements, we got all these people to download this video or ebook or whatever the product is or service, right? And so I think it's just like, again, trying to find a way to get something that's measurable, because obviously there's a lot of things that are intangible, but if you add that tangible piece to it, now you can measure it and you have a KPI.
Right. And just one little further question on that is, you know, when I was trying to explain to my clients that if they've left, let's say we go and build like an extravagant wall that somebody has to chip a ball over, you know, onto a green at like a golf, you know, charity event. If somebody walks away from that event and they don't remember necessarily what you do, they'll remember that experience that they had from watching their buddy try and chip a ball over a 20-foot wall, and then next week they're getting a picture in their mail that said, you know, hey, thanks for coming by. So do you see that as that is just as valuable as a dollar amount?
Oh, of course. I mean, I think engagement and experience is one of the most important things. As we diverge away from traditional media, as buying a TV ad obviously is way less effective today than 10 years ago, as print obviously is very weak and doesn't really drive any sort of result, it's not just about digital. It's not just about social. It is also like, how do we do something with people? How do we engage them? How do we create a really great experience where people are going to want to come back, that they're going to have a good feeling and emotion attached to our brand? And a really good example of that, of course, is sports, right? You've got sports teams that are just dynasties and people will show up anyway just because they're a dynasty. And then you also have sports teams, honestly, like who aren't or who kind of suck, but because the experience at the ballpark or the experience at the court is so awesome that people will come for that, even if the team's losing, right? Because they're emotionally invested and the experience is good. And so I'm 100% in agreement that the experience is great. I would just say, like, trying to find ways, especially if you're piggybacking off of someone else's event, like a golf tournament or something, making sure that the brand itself is somehow a little bit more tangible, a little bit more present, aside from just like a logo on a chipping wall, which is good. But like, what else can we do so that the brand is also now like actually interacting with the person, aside from placement? Now you get a little bit more tangible, you create a little bit more emotion, you create more engagement, you give them a better experience. And then I love that you said you do the follow-up, because I think that's an important thing too, where it doesn't just start and end at an event. It's, well, how are we promoting up to the event? What are we doing at the event that's going to give them a killer experience? And then afterwards, what's the takeaway? What is that person going to do? How are they going to feel? You know, what are we sending them? How are we getting them into a funnel? How are we getting them to purchase something? How are we giving them more content or a better experience next time? So I think if you're thinking about it that in the long term, not only does it create better experience and ultimately better customers and better people that are more aware of the brand, but ultimately you now have other touch points that you can track, which goes back to the first question.
Right. Brilliant. Yep. I agree with you. Thanks for taking my call, man. I just stumbled on you a couple days ago. So Awesome. Well, James, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in, and thanks for watching. Yep. Cheers. Bye.
Pleasure, man. Thank you. All right. I'm going to put this, let's see here. I'll put this up one more time. We got another person on here. Okay, cool. All right. Yep, we just lost one. So if I'm going to put this number back up here, 917-633-4840. If you have a question, you want to do a call in, I'm going to do one last caller, and then the rest I'm just going to do Q&A from Facebook itself. If this is valuable for you, I'd appreciate if you share the stream. If it's not valuable for you, comment. Let me know how I can make this better and make it valuable for you. Because again, we're just starting this off, right? I mean, we're a little bit scrappy here, making it work. But I want to make sure that we're giving value back to all of you. I thought James and the other caller, you guys were great. Thanks for coming in with real good, powerful questions. If anybody else wants to dial in, you got something you want to work out specifically, got questions on business or marketing, or just a general question or challenge, dial in. This is the last chance. I'm going to leave it up for, we'll leave it open for a couple of more minutes here. In the meantime, Let me see. I think I got to refresh my feed here. In the meantime, are there any other questions that any of you have? Oh, man. God, technical stuff here. Dope, Xavier. Awesome. What was dope, man? When's the next time you're visiting Tampa, Brandon? I'm not sure yet. I don't have something specifically on the calendar. I know Lizzie's going to be up there. I know she's got some meetings actually in the next couple of weeks up there, so she'll be around. I will definitely be down there in the somewhat near future. I just don't know when yet. Last chance to call in, 917-633-4840. You have a question on business or marketing, let me know. Alana will patch you in, and we'll work through something live on air, which will be a lot of fun. So, in the meantime, Xavier, passion, drive, watching the growth from afar. Thank you, Xavier, man. I appreciate that. Thank you all. Lalo, what's up, man? What's up, Lalo? Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. This is really cool, really special on a Thursday afternoon. I think that, James brought up a really great question on that call, which, really is like, how do you create something tangible as something that has a lot of intangibles? And it's really just about figuring out how do we inject, how do we create little moments, little things, little actions that don't detract from a customer's experience, but actually add to a customer's experience, but ultimately give you and the brand a touch point that is trackable, tangible, and has a KPI measurement. Because at the end of the day, one of the biggest dangers I see from brands and from clients is when they feel like, hey, the only thing that we need is we're going to put $1 into this platform and we want $1.50, $2, $5 out. While that's great and is definitely possible, and we have a lot of clients that operate that way, and depending on the product, depending on the service, can be insanely successful. The reality is you can't just focus on direct sales all the time. Because if I just hammer you every single day with buy this product, buy this product, buy this product, you might want that product today. You might want it in 6 months. And because I got in front of you so often, you might think of my product and buy it when you need it. But you're not remembering my brand. You're not thinking about my brand 6 months, 12 months, 3 years down the line, right? I'm just selling you something because it's a commodity in the moment. And so I think that it's a big mistake to just focus in on the short term. You have to build a brand in the long term. You have to build a brand. If you're not building a brand today, you're screwed in the long run, right? Because if you become just a commodity, a brand is not a commodity. A product that you just sell is a commodity. So if you're just selling a commodity, you're going to be out of business because a commodity is easy. Because Amazon will take you over because Amazon, they just find ways to commoditize everything, get it right to the consumer when they need it. Okay? And so, but if you have a brand, Amazon can't make your brand. Amazon can sell your product, right? I'll give you a really good example of something that I recently saw that I purchased, right? So I have a dog. Anybody, doesn't know. Obviously, I'm a huge dog person. I don't have any pictures of her around here. She's super cute. My wife would agree. So would my dog. Anyway, but I have a dog, right? We travel with her everywhere. When we leave on the weekends or we go hike and we take the dog with us, we take her to hotel, like she goes everywhere. She's our kid essentially, right? And so, for the back of our car, we get this like canvas hammock thing so that goes over the seat. So that way we just don't end up with fur and stuff all over the vehicle, which is great. We used to buy this one brand's product, right? Because they made it. It was great. It was probably $40, something like that, $50. Guess what? Amazon, because they see what's selling and what isn't, made an Amazon Basics version of the same thing. Actually, it was a little bit better. They had a little better pockets. They had a little zipper here, and they sold it for $13. Dude, I'm not brand loyal to some company. I don't even know the name of the company. It was just a commodity. It was a thing I needed for my car, for my dog. So I bought it. And I only knew that one company sold it because that's the only one I'd ever seen. Because they got in my face at some point. Maybe it was a Google pay-per-click ad, or maybe I just Googled it somewhere and found it. And so I purchased it. And every 6 months, 8 months, I need to buy a new one because it gets ripped or something. And then when I looked it up the next time around and I saw that Amazon made the same damn thing, even a little bit better for $13, I'm buying the one $13 from Amazon, free shipping that I get tomorrow for $13. It's actually a slightly better product. That's a commodity. That is a commodity. That company, if that's the only thing they sell, because I don't know who they are, because obviously they created no brand with me. They created no emotion. They created no connection. I don't even know the name. They're out of business because it's just a commodity. Now, Had they been a brand that said, listen, this is what we stand for. They had videos, they had content. They sold me on like, look, we've got this thing for our car. And then they sent me something in the mail. Hey, listen, I know it's the holidays. Here's a gift for your dog. I know you like this. We make these other products that are really special in these certain ways. And, and because you gave to this, we're going to donate to the ASPCA and blah, 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 blah. And they kept on me in the right way and did great things for me and got me emotionally charged and showed me all the other ways that their products really affect my life in an emotional way, because a dog is very emotional. I wouldn't have even thought about buying the Amazon one, because I'm like, man, I want to see this company succeed. I want their other stuff. I want to be a part of it. I'm not just buying a thing for my back seat. I'm buying a piece of this company because they do great things for something I'm passionate about. You see the difference? That's a brand versus a commodity. You have to build a brand. So it's simultaneous. It's making sure you're selling now in the short term while building a long-term brand. Okay, going to take a few more Q&As as we get close to wrapping this up here. I'm just going to pick up my phone. Don't mind me. So throw any Q&As you got in here. Michael Perez, thanks, man. Why are so many huge companies so bad at marketing themselves via the internet, even though they have so much money? Nick, great question. You want to know why? Two things. Legacy. Number one. Most of the companies that are that big, huge Fortune 500s or massive companies, billion-dollar companies, the board of directors, the CEOs, CMOs, man, they've been around for 20, 30 years. And most people, forget just them specifically, most people stop learning. They stop pushing themselves. They stop living by the extremes, and they start going to that middle ground, that mediocrity, man, because they're like, oh, man, I've done this. I've made so much money. I get paid millions of dollars a year. Why do I need to learn what works? I know what works. No, you don't. Everything progresses except for you unless you choose to progress. And so you have a lot of people who have been around for a long time, and what used to work 10, 20 years ago certainly doesn't work today. And most of them, not all of them, but most of them are not educating themselves on what works today because they don't want to relearn. Maybe it's a little bit of entitlement, right? I feel like the younger generations get hit with, oh, they're so entitled. Dude, you know who's entitled? The CEOs, the CMOs at some big companies that are like, I refuse to learn and change my way of thinking because I already learned it and I'm already make this money, so why should I change? And unfortunately, they end up bankrupting the company and having to fire people, and people lose their jobs because somebody is entitled. It goes both ways. That's a big piece of it, in all honesty. And then the other piece of it is the ad industry is a behemoth, man. It's freaking huge. There's a lot of money to be lost and made. There's big holding companies that are tens of billions of dollars that are also vested in traditional media. If the TV market tomorrow became worth zero, meaning ads all of a sudden went from $100,000 for a national 30 seconds to $5,000 for a national 30 seconds, do you know how many agencies, media buying companies, media companies would go out of business? A freaking lot. So they're vested in making sure that that shift does not happen quickly or at all. So they're giving bad advice. All right, let's see. Still fireman pushing messages to the agency, don't quit, pivot, blah, blah, blah. WPP, yeah, I love it, Nicholas. Thank you very much. My biggest question is analytics. What service do you use to pull data and track your users? What data do you find relevant for retargeting? Clint, great question. There's so many different tools. There's so many ways you can measure it. And here's the deal. None of it's perfect. A lot of people think that, oh, well, I use Google Analytics and I see that XYZ happened. Dude, last click attribution model is a joke, right? Like, yes, there's some value in understanding like, hey, this person went from here to purchase. There's some value there, but that doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't tell that, they went to your event and did the chip over of that thing and then got the piece in the mail and then went and Googled something and watched the video and went down the rabbit hole and learned about your brand and then went to Facebook, saw a remarketing ad, clicked on it, and then purchased. Doesn't show that whole journey, right? And nothing. There is no technology today. There are companies that will sell you this. Oh, well, we have full visibility of the market, including dark links. It's all fucking bullshit, dude. Some of them do a better job than others. No one yet. The technology does not exist to perfectly track across the board. And here's the deal. Any company that is saying, well, we have an algorithm that figures out like what exactly, oh, they clicked on these 17 things in this order, so that means this happened. If I see a Facebook ad before I then go to Google, and you used to go to Google before you see a Facebook ad, does that mean that my journey was changed differently than yours or vice versa? No, not necessarily. It's all individual. That's the beauty of where we're at and the divergence that's happening right now, right? Where we have technology that a lot of people are relying too heavily on and just like going by the numbers. But the numbers don't tell the true story. That's why you need human intellect. That's why you need human IP to really understand and look at the data and interpret that data. So Google Analytics is great, but it's got a lot of flaws, right? Google 360, the big, the enterprise version is better. Same thing, it's got flaws. We have different clients at different sizes that use different products. You got bigger stuff like Adobe Marketing Cloud. Again, a lot better, but there's nothing perfect. You got Optimizely for certain stuff like landing pages. Trying to think of some other services. But for us, again, it really comes down to the client because some of them want to use certain tools or have certain things in place. But for us, it's really just like looking at multiple sources of data, overlaying that data, looking at that and having a human analyst or a data scientist really look at that and understand from a statistical perspective, like what makes sense. And then understanding just from a psychological perspective, from a creative perspective, how are we going to interpret it, right? And how do we back up our interpretation? So I know it wasn't like the perfect answer, but I'm just being honest because there really isn't a perfect answer yet. All right. What's the big name you couldn't mention from the last video? Give me some time. Maybe we'll be able to mention it soon. Gives us a great example how a brand outs ourselves for business. Awesome, Lalo. Glad that was helpful. So if your idea isn't patentable, but you think you can still market it the right way, is there eventually still worth it? Yeah. Marketing's not patentable. Like, yeah, we could develop a software that does something specific and patent that, but a service-based business is not patentable. Somebody could come in and do a better job. That's what we're doing. We're coming in, we're doing a better job. That's why we're grabbing market share. That's why we're growing. That's why we're making our clients happy, why they're sticking around, why new people are doing business with us, right? So it doesn't have to be a patent. You don't have to patent something. Now, if you have a product specifically and you don't have a patent and somebody can easily come and rip it off, you got to be careful. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go and do it. But if it's really successful, sure, Amazon could just rip it off. So that's where at the same time, though, a brand really matters. Because again, like had that company that made that dog canvas thing for the back of my car, had they built a brand and I felt passionate about that company and had an emotional connection, I would have spent the extra $37 to buy their product over Amazon. It's just the truth, right? So building a brand is massively, massively important. Patents help, but patents also aren't the end-all be-all, right? A patent doesn't mean you have a good product either. Let's see. All right, couple more quick ones. Mike, I run social media first, advertising agency in somewhat large city, Minnesota. So they are behind the times compared to, say, Minneapolis. We are starting a Facebook Live and general video studio for businesses and brands. How can I get people to buy into the concept being offered at a really cheap rate? Mike, get case studies, man. Just start proving that it works, right? Get a couple of brands on board, and that makes sense, that it fits for. Get them to be a part of it, get them to give testimonials, show that it works, get the data, and then take that and go sell that to the new clients. Because when you can prove that it works and it's tangible and someone else has done it before, other brands are going to be much more likely to get on board with it, right? So it's just as simple as that. I mean, in reality, some of what we're doing right now is part of this, right? Where I can say unequivocally, because here's the beauty, right? By the way, total tangent. Here's the beauty of what we're doing right now, this Facebook Live, Growing Bold show, the other content that we're pushing out. Unlike a client, we have no restraints. We can do whatever we want. We can put our media anywhere. We can test it in any way we want. We can say anything freely. And so it allows us to actually test little like micro markets and little things like this and Facebook Lives. I mean, it's kind of crazy when you go like, the retention rate on these 10-minute videos or even these lives, even though the audience is small in comparison to like a massive brand, is still better than a lot of the other stuff that's out there. And so it gives us a lot of data and a case study in and of itself outside of the obvious, like the big client work that we're doing. So I think for you, it's just like, yeah, how do you get someone to do it, could sell that first one, and then turn that into a case study? And then if it's repeatable and it's profitable or solves the problem that those clients have that you're going after, then it should start to become a very easy sale. All right, a couple other quick ones. James Allen Smith, welcome to the live show, James. How do you create more buyer, seller, end-to-end trust in the marketplace? New wristband, sir. Nice. You got it, man. I love it. Open the package. So, how do you create more buyer and seller end-to-end trust in the marketplace? That's communication, right? That's the human element, right? It depends, obviously, like if you're B2B, which James, I think you're B2B, right? It's having good customer service. It's creating a good relationship. It's making sure, hey, I want to make sure you have the right product. I want to make sure you have the right service. I want to make sure that what we're doing is working for you. It's about being honest and open. Hey, tell me how that worked. What did you like about it? Oh, great. What didn't you like about it? Oh, okay, maybe I can improve that for you. Or, hey, maybe I can't, but I learned something from it. So I think from that perspective, it's just about really good customer service. Even if you're a product, even if you're a brand, B2C, it's customer service. And the beauty of it is, which is kind of crazy to me, as technology builds, you know, it's really funny. Everyone wants to go to automation. They're like, oh, we're going to automate our stuff. We're going to buy programmatic because it's automated and the machines are smarter than us. We're going to go to, we're going to outsource our calls. We're going to outsource, we're going to put a little messenger bot, and it's going to answer everybody's questions. You know what happens? You remove the human element. One, it's not perfect. Two, people just feel like they're talking to a freaking doorknob. Nobody wants that, right? People want to be able for somebody to understand contextually the situation that they're in and say, I get it. I understand why you feel this way, ma'am or sir, and I'm going to fix it for you. Or I understand why you feel this way, ma'am or sir. I can't fix it for you, but XYZ. People want that. And so what's beautiful about the marketplace right now is technology's taking everything over, and AI and everybody's going all in on that. You actually go the opposite way. Now use the technology to help you, but go the opposite way and just go all in on customer service. Nobody's going away because customer service sucks in general. So I would say like creating that, you know, the buyer to seller trust is really about customer service. It's about connection. I want to know that the person on the other side that's selling to me or the company on the other side selling to me really cares and has my best interests in mind. All right, one more here. Have you found, John Morris, have you found that there are industries that don't find success marketing on social media? I've found industries or products, more specifically, that have more of a challenge. I have yet to see an industry as a whole that has not worked in some way, shape, or form, because it depends what you're saying success is. For some brands, success is just selling. I want to put $1 in and get $2 out. So, you know, there might be brands where, you know, it just nobody wants to buy that product in the first click. Like, I'm not going to sell $1 million plus marketing campaign in an e-commerce website through Facebook with DPA ads, right? Nobody's going to buy it that way. So that wouldn't work. But I'm using social media to connect with people, to educate, to show what we're doing ourselves, that we are literally doing what we're selling. And so that creates a story, creates some brand, it creates some reputation, opening up for questions. And so I'm using social media for a different outcome that's still tangible, but I'm not just trying to do a one-to-one immediate transaction, direct sale. And so I think any industry can use that same thought process, you know, and say like, oh, well, we're a hospital. Okay, well, what do you need? You need donations? Great. Maybe you can build a list. You can get people to come into an event. You can take that list, remarket to them, send them emails, give them content. I don't know, right? And so there's always a way to utilize the tool of social media to get something tangible that's ultimately valuable outside of direct sales. So I would say if you understand like what that thing is, how do you measure it? How is there something tangible that this industry or business can get from it? There's always a way to make it successful. It's just not as clear cut as direct sales. James, I'm glad you liked that answer. Listen, I thank you all for tuning in. I really do. I really appreciate it. It's every Thursday, 1 p.m. we're going live. Every Tuesday we're dropping a Growing Bold, except this Tuesday might be a little shaky. Thank you for putting up with the technical issues. I'm glad we got the phone calls to work. We're going to do more of that. We're going to figure out a better system as we continue to go forward. I'll leave you with this. Right? You're better off doing, just like we're doing now, you're better off doing and not getting it perfect and learning something and improving on it next time than not doing it all or waiting for it to be perfect. If I waited to be perfect to do this Facebook Live and a call-in show, it wouldn't have happened today. How much we learned from doing this today and how much better it's going to be next week and the week after. So don't worry about, not everything's ever going to be perfect. When we're talking about business or marketing or life, just do. And make sure you learn from it, though. Make sure you learn from it. So listen, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure to always be bold. Thank you so much. I wish you massive, massive success in whatever it is that you do.